everyone. Today we're going to talk about an important item that people take with them as they travel, and that is the parking tag. If you are a wheelchair user and you have a parking tag already, awesome. If you are just thinking of getting one soon, this video could be of help. But even for those who have parking tags already, there are some legal details that I'll be putting in here so that that everybody can use the parking tag appropriately. Anyway, they are a lifeline to many of us, but only if they're used the right way. Truly the right way. You don't want to get a ticket. Let's make sure you know the do's and all the don'ts. First of all, who qualifies? And it's those who have a disability, who can't walk more than 200 feet, I think it is, due to breathing issues, due to mobility issues, due to, so things that impair them or don't allow them to just park anywhere in the parking space and get to where they're going. They need assistance. So the parking tag helps them park closer to the venue where they're going, the agency where they're going. So it's really important to know that not all of us qualify. Now, sometimes the blind ask, do I qualify? Of course you do. Parking lots are very dangerous for you. So, yes, you qualify. That you just have to fill out the forms, and, you have to go through a doctor. The doctor has to fill out one of the pages in the application. And then you can submit it. You fill out your part, the doctor fills out theirs, they sign it, you sign it, and then you can submit it to the Department of Motor and Vehicles. And you might say, Lisa, this is boring. I've already done that. That's good. Glad you did it, but some don't know the process. Lisa, can I just buy one on the internet? And the answer is no, you may not. Under any circumstances, buy one on the internet. Your doctor has to verify, even though it might sound silly for wheelchair users, for a doctor to verify that you're in a wheelchair. It's pretty obvious. But sometimes they just have to do that. So you just need to get through that process. So silly as it is. But, people with chronic conditions that limit their walking distance and folks who medically qualify, remember, the tag is for the person, not the car, okay? When you sign up for a parking tag, it is in your name, not license plate, not a car, nothing. In your name. So Joe Smith, Joe Blow, Sandy, whoever. So if you're not with the person, it's issued to, you can't use it. Surprise. So if there's a person who drives you around, they can use it as long as you are in the car. If you are not in the car, they went somewhere to do an errand, whatever, they can't use it. They have to park somewhere else in the parking lot, okay? So sometimes people don't know that. So I explained that to one of our volunteers. She had no idea. So I said, yes, you could get a ticket if you are not with me. So she was like, oops, okay. When you park, always hang the tag in your rearview mirror, or place it, on your dash. Don't leave it up while driving. You can get a ticket for that. So it can block your view. That's what the police say. So when you're going to start driving, take it down, put it away. and put it away where it's not visible because these are very, very coveted. Okay, so put it in an envelope and put it in your door, wherever, so where it's not visible. And make sure it's always visible when you park in the parking spot. So here are a few mistakes to avoid. I had to make a list. Lending your tag to a family or friends. Don't do that. Really bad, because if they make a mistake, then the problem is it's going to come back to you. And the police could take away the tag once they learn it doesn't belong to them. And then you have to go pick it up at the police station. So avoid that by all means. Using it when the person it belongs to isn't with you, which we just talked about. Forgetting to renew it, that's really important. It usually has an expiration date, so you want to check your parking tag. Mine expired a little bit last year, and I had to renew it for the first time. And, they sent me these little numbers in the month, and I was like, where am I supposed to stick that? And there's a little box down below where I was supposed to stick it. So a learning process for me. It's like, oh, this little tiny thing, it gets stuck down here. So it's November of whatever year. So you have to pay attention to the expiration date. Usually it's every 4 years here in the United States. In other places, it could be a permanent. Well, mine is permanent, but I have to renew it still. Traveling out of state, this is really important, to another country. Most places in the U.S. honor each other's parking tags, so that's a good thing. But always check the local rules before you go, okay? Especially in California or Oregon, where there's a lot of traffic, or down south, because some of the disabled parking spots might be only for a few minutes. So really important for you to know if it's just you can park there and there's no time limit. Other places have time limits, so you want to be careful where you're parking. And never assume different cities can have slightly different enforcement. So you just want to be careful with that. In other countries especially, they honor many times, our American parking permits, but they have different rules. So you have to check. This is the travel season in which people make those mistakes, and you want to avoid those. Keep your tag out of sight. When you're not using it, keep it in the glove compartment, keep it in an envelope, and put it in your doorway. But don't have it exposed like on the seat or something, because again, they are very, very coveted. And people easily steal them. And it'll come back to you. So it'll come back to you who, your name is on it. So you want to be careful not to lose your permit because you were using it inappropriately. So let's try all those things. I put mine in a plastic cover so it lasts and so it doesn't get wet, all those good things. You want to protect it. So usually here in the United States, they give you 2. So I keep one in the back of my wheelchair, and the other one, I keep it in the drawer. So when I go places with someone, if I'm using my wheelchair, not a problem. If I'm not with my wheelchair, I'm with my walker, which is unfortunate, then I have to remember to pull the one out of the drawer and take it with me. So, you always want to have it with you so that, if someone's driving you, then they have it. and, they can park in a disabled parking spot. Sometimes there are no parking spots. There are none for the disabled because there are other people who park there who do not have a tag. And, they are being watched by the store. They are being watched by the police. They are being watched by us. So if you see someone with no license plates and no tags and they're parked there, one, it could be they forgot to hang their tag up, or two, they have no right to park there. They think they do, but they don't. So you can report that to the store and they'll come and check and see what's going on. But it's important to not confront the person who's violating the regulations. Not. Because, people get aggressive for lesser reasons. So, there are people with COPD. There are people with cardiac problems that have parking permits, and their condition is not visible. It's an invisible disability. People with MS, their condition is not visible unless they're using a wheelchair, and they get yelled at by people around them. Who do you think you are parking there and using you don't have anything, you're standing, you're walking. It's none of their business, So be aware that there are invisible disabilities and they might have a parking permit for a disabled stall. So just be aware, So this travel season, use your disabled parking tag responsibly. It's about protecting accessibility for all of us, because there's been so many issues with the parking permits, people not using it appropriately, parking tags being falsified, parking tags being stolen, that they're thinking of changing the system. Sometimes when one system doesn't work, then they have to flip it to something else. So fingers crossed they don't do that, but if they do, hopefully it's practical. I'm thinking like they almost want to change it for a card that you scan, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. So if this was helpful, give me a thumbs up or subscribe if you want to hear about more videos, and share it with someone who travels with a disability and could use a refresher, So to all of you, safe travels. And don't forget to look at the next video that will appear up here or down there somewhere. All right, folks, take care. Drive safely, and I'll see you in the next one.